Hello, my fellow nerds. Welcome to another episode of Speculation. We hear some theories about an up-and-coming movie, and we're going to give you thoughts. Yes, we are down a man, but hey, that's his fault, not ours. We'll keep it going anyway. Love you, Sleepy. So we just saw a speculation video based on what Cosmic Circus reported that in Avengers Kang Dynasty, Doctor Strange and Kang will be the final battle, with Doctor Strange being the villain and Kang being the hero. So I have a theory, but what are your initial thoughts on that before I give you my crazy theory?
Initial thoughts, me, because you sent me that this morning, and me listening to it, I was like, okay, weird, but there's a lot of, evidence that it might be true, that he might be the, because if you see when Mr. Fantastic tells him, in the big of the multiverse, you're the biggest threat.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the biggest threat be Kang?
Right.
But then, we never thought about that because, we just thought this movie took place before Loki season 1.
Right.
Or we thought it was happening at the same time. We really didn't pay too much attention to that detail because, we just thought, Kang. We read comics. We obviously know that Kang is a villain. So, when you see some things like Sinister Strange in the What If and that Zombie Strange in the thing and the Sinister Strange in Multiverse, it's a variant. So we never thought about, oh, wow, this could actually happen. There's, like I said, there's evidence that it could show that he's bad and whatnot. But, I'm kind of conflicted because even though, I want Kang to be the villain.
Right.
I want him to be the villain. He's the villain. Doctor Strange always been that hero, but he always fucks up. Even in the comics, he fucks up. We read comics. The last comic he had that, he's not the sorcerer and his wife is, So we always know how he fucks up and how he, talks to his older variants or younger variants. And, so we always seen that in the comics where I'm very conflicted now. Is there a way that, and, I want to hear your theory. So that's why I'm going to just throw this question out there. And probably your theory tells me or answer my question. But is there a way that probably Kang is tricking all of them into thinking that he's the good guy? And Strange is the bad guy? Is it, so many questions like why is it called the Kang Dynasty? Why is it called if the threat is Doctor Strange? It's a lot of questions more than answers, but I want to hear your theory to see if it answer a couple of my questions. Because to be honest, I'm conflicted with this. I think if it's true, it'll be cool.
Yeah,
it'll be like what the fuck, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, I will have to see how it plays out and then give my thought on that. But, I don't want this to be the what the fuck that I'm like, damn, this shit. Oh, no, why you did that? Like, I don't want this to be the Ralph Boner.
Right.
At the end of, because I will get pissed off. So, what do you think? What's the theory? What your thoughts on this?
I think it is Strange versus Kang. Let's assume that's true. And Strange is the villain, but not the villain that you think. We get okey doked in this. That we think Strange is the villain, and actually, I need you to be taken out. So I, Immortus Kang, can take over. So I trick the Avengers and Kang from the past, my former self, to take out Stephen Strange. And then I come in as Prime Kang, Immortus Kang, whatever he's called. Now that the greatest threat to me is out of the way, I can wipe out everybody.
Oh.
Remember, Thanos never made a play on the Infinity Gems until Odin was taken out.
Yeah.
Because that would be a big threat. Odin could take him out. Once Odin was off the table, Thor didn't believe in himself and had never used the Odin Force, now Thor Force, enough to defeat him.
And he was in a bad stage where,
Yeah.
his mom had died,
Father
his
died,
dad
Asgard
died. He
destroyed.
found out his sister was up,
Yeah.
And yeah. So we see that. So a quick question here. So you're saying basically that Kang is going to trick
Prime Kang.
Prime Kang.
Or Immortus Kang, whatever they call him.
He's going to trick the Avengers into helping. Because
he's going to just sit in the background and wait. Whereas this Kang is legit trying to fix the multiverse and restore order from all the evil Kangs, from the Council of Kangs. And what's the biggest threat to the Council of Kangs? What Kang says is Doctor Strange, trying to destroy everything to prevent an incursion that he had already fucked up and did. As Clea says, you cause an incursion and you're going to help me fix it. And the same way he defeated Dormammu, he can defeat Kang. So Kang already knows the end of the story. So he waits in the shadows, lets everything take place. Then once Doctor Strange is defeated, he shows up and says, "Thank you. That's all I needed," and just starts wiping everybody out.
And then the story goes that they had to look for a new Doctor Strange to defeat
Kang. And then they have to find He Who Remains at the beginning and bring him forward in order to defeat this version of Kang. And they all have to trust each other and work together. And my opinion, what I would like to see, I should say, who is working with Kang would be Victor Von Doom, who's trying to play both sides. Remember in the Infinity comic book where Mephisto was standing next to Thanos.
Yeah.
But he wasn't making a play. He was just biding time for somebody else to do it because he knew Thanos could wipe him out. Doom is sitting there just playing, waiting. And like in the original Secret Wars, he eventually stole the powers of the Beyonder, waiting for the right time to steal the powers of Prime Kang and make a move, but gets defeated.
It's a lot of ways this could go.
Right.
And to be honest, you can't really be mad at any of it.
Right.
The way it goes. Now, can you be disappointed on things? No. Yes. And as fans, that's always, and you got the right to voice your opinion. But to be honest, it's hard to imagine where this is going to go.
Right.
Like right now we're having this talk about a theory that they're saying, and the rumors, and obviously you're giving us your theory, which I honestly have to 100% agree. I don't even think that Doctor Strange will be the villain. I think we will get into...
Yeah, we think he's the villain.
He's the villain. The way they did with Scarlet Witch.
Right. Remember in Homecoming, he fucked up. Thought he was doing the right thing. But he then discovered the multiverse, which we thought he was the first to discover. It was actually Hank Pym. And I think one of the first ones to die in Kang Dynasty will be Hank Pym. Everybody says Scott. It's going to be Hank Pym.
I think so too.
Because him and Janet discovered it.
Yep.
Him and Janet basically killed Kang. Killed the Conqueror version of Kang. So they have to be taken out right away. Strange has to be taken out. Because he's trying to stop the incursions. So Strange... Any version of Strange, as we saw in 838, is the most dangerous in the first place. So we have to take out every version of Kang. Prime Kang, Beyonder Kang, whatever he is, sees this and lets everybody else do the work for him. And then he comes in once the most powerful being off the table's gone, I can now take everybody out.
But are we sure the most powerful being is Strange? How about Scarlet Witch?
We don't know where she is. That's the Secret Wars. They need to find her kids, and the Children's Crusade need to find her and bring her back. So think about it. We now have the Children's Crusade. with the young Avengers.
where they need to look for that the world's all messed up,
Right.
or apocalyptic, and they need to look for Scarlet Witch because she's the next one that could actually stop Kang.
Yeah.
All these movies have to be 2 parts, bro.
Right.
Kang Dynasty has to be 2 parts. Secret War has to be
We can
2
go
parts.
there now. That's a rumor.
See?
That Kang Dynasty will have to be 2 parts
Has to.
to tell all the stories they want. Because the rumor is that Fantastic Four won't even be in Kang Dynasty.
Ooh.
That's how big this movie's going to be.
So where are the Fantastic Four going to be?
Probably, remember, and we know they exist. So they're probably rebuilding, trying to figure out what happened in the multiverse, trying to rebuild it like they did.
And remember, not everybody has to come out in Kang Dynasty.
Right.
People could come out in Secret Wars. Remember, Captain Marvel didn't come out in Infinity War.
No.
She came out in Endgame.
Right.
So to be honest, that would be nice.
Remember, Hawkeye didn't come out.
No, he came out in Endgame.
Fury and Maria Hill were the post-credit scene
Wow.
of Infinity War.
Wow.
Yeah. So you could, through post-credit scenes and TV shows and specials, you can tell everything and make everything be a part of something so big that leads to Kang Dynasty. But then you have 10 or 12 more projects before you get to Secret Wars.
Now, question is, if everything's getting delayed, yeah, I'm going there.
Right.
If everything's getting delayed, when are we going to finish seeing this? Because then, remember, there's Kang Dynasty. There has to be a part 2 before Secret War comes out.
Mm-hmm.
If they're splitting it, so when is part 2 going to come out? A year after part 1?
Yep.
Then Secret War will be a year after Kang Dynasty part 2?
2 years.
See what I'm saying? When is this going to end?
If you figure Kang Dynasty, let's say they do split it into 2 parts. That'll be 25 and 26. You wait a year for sure, maybe 2.
Because you want to tell stories after.
28, 29. Now, that would give you more than enough time to bring in the X-Men, but you don't really need them. But you do need certain X-Men you could bring in. You can make that your post-credit scene. You can involve the Eternals. Because they are coming back in some shape or form. Maybe not Eternals too, but they are coming back.
Plus, to be honest, we could do the Mutant Saga next.
Right.
Instead of doing the
Well, that's the rumor for 7, 8, 9.
see?
Is the Celestial Saga is basically the Mutant Saga, how they introduce, where they've been. Plus, we already have mutants in there. We already have Professor X.
Yeah, that's true.
So we do have mutants in there. We've already retrofitted Kamala Khan to be a mutant, like they wanted to in the comics, but they couldn't. We know Scarlet Witch and Pietro at one point were mutants.
Yeah.
To get retrofitted around the same time. But her kids being born with powers makes them mutants.
Yeah.
So they're there. So you set up your Young Avengers movie now, having to go get Scarlet Witch because you're getting all the characters in place. And now you set up Doctor Strange to be the MacGuffin, whereas you have to go back. Maybe you have to go back before the accident. Or as he's in Carmartage. To get him now, we need this version of Doctor Strange who doesn't know anything yet.
To groom him.
To groom him to become what we need. And you bring in any version of Spider-Man, which we know Tom Holland signed a big contract. That'll announce it later in the summer.
And what if the ending, as we said, and this is just throwing stuff out there, but what if the Beyonder ends up being Doctor Strange at the end of time?
What if it's Tony Stark?
Protecting the timeline.
What if it's Tony Stark?
That's what I'm saying. It could be a lot of, you could, dude, it's crazy how you could go,
What if the evil Iron Man is Jonathan Majors? Which is why he wasn't in Multiverse.
Because he will give it away.
No, because the robots are his.
Yeah.
Remember, a version of him invented the TVA.
Yeah.
A version of him helped create Apocalypse.
That is true.
He's everything, So They could go so many ways with the Jonathan Majors as the actor.
And the thing is, like I said, like you and we come back to the whole situation. Like you said, you could go multiple ways with this.
Right.
Now that we know that maybe Doctor Strange is the MacGuffin, probably you could start looking at, go back to these movies and be like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Because now you got a different point of view of the situation.
Yeah. Well, think about it. He fucked up in the first movie using the Time Stone, which he got from the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yep.
He fucked up in the last movie with his spell, and he opened the multiverse. It shows you that multiverses exist for the Spider-Man.
Then he fucked up in
Created an incursion.
Multiverse of Madness.
And created an incursion because that's the post-credit scene. And other versions of Doctor Strange in that movie fucked up.
He has always fucked up.
Right.
And
this time, it came to bite him in the ass.
it's crazy. I feel bad. Damn, I like Doctor Strange. And that shit is just crazy.
And like you said in the comics, he fucks up.
He fucks up all the time. So he makes perfect sense.
And there's another topic we could get into later or in a different podcast episode, as we say. But it also sets up the original Defenders.
Wow.
And we'll talk about that later. Deuces, nerds.